say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the most bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Happy Veterans Day, everyone. I'm Dr. Sheila Quirk-Bailey, President of Illinois Central College. Thank you for joining us today as we observe Veterans Day. Of course, I'd rather be celebrating and honoring our veterans with you in person, but I am very thankful for the opportunity to meet virtually to give honor and recognition to those who have so bravely served our country. Veterans Day started out as Armistice Day, a day set aside to honor the veterans of World War I. The armistice, which halted hostilities of that war, was signed on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. That celebration honored the end of the war that would end all wars. Yet in 1954, after World War II and the conflict in Korea, President Dwight D. Eisenhower issued the first Veterans Day proclamation to rename Armistice Day as Veterans Day. Since then, Veterans Day has given us the opportunity to honor veterans from all American wars and all of those who served. This year, the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs chose the Veterans Day theme as Vision, Veterans in Focus. All veterans make a sacrifice to serve their country, whether that be physically, emotionally, and all of them sacrificed by being away from their loved ones and missing all those important life moments. So we look back on centuries of veterans, their service, their sacrifice. We need to learn lessons from the past and create a vision to support them in the future. We must continue to honor all of those who have served while focusing on the next generations of veterans and their needs. At Illinois Central College, we are proud to have 107 employees and 132 students who have answered the country's call to duty. On behalf of the Illinois Central College Board of Trustees, administration, faculty, and staff, thank you to all of our students and employees, all of the men and women who have served in our armed forces. We understand that service goes beyond the uniform, and we thank you for your exceptional personal sacrifices and service to our community and our nation. Today, we are honored to be hearing from special guest speakers John and Sean Kane. The father and son duo both served in the United States Navy. John was an aviation photographer, petty officer, second class, and was deployed to Saigon, Vietnam in the late 60s. John's son, Sean, served 5 years in the Navy and was stationed on the USS Essex. He earned the Navy Marine Corps Commendation for his support in Operation Southern Watch in the Gulf War and Operation United Shield in Somalia. We are honored to hear from both veterans today. Thank you, John and Sean, for sharing your inspirational stories with us. We truly thank you for your service and sacrifice. But before we hear from them, I'll first turn it over to the Illinois Central College Coordinator of Veterans Affairs, Marie Doty. Thank you again for joining us today. Marie.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us. My name is Marie Doty. I am the Coordinator of Veteran Affairs for ICC, and I am an Army veteran. And I'm also excited to share a bit of my past and present with you today. After finishing my basic training in the early 1990s, I missed my unit's last flight out to support the Gulf War, and so I was assigned to a rear detachment unit for the 11th Air Defense Artillery Brigade at Fort Bliss, Texas. My job was working nights at headquarters and receiving situation reports, or SITREPs, from brigade leaders sitting in Saudi Arabia. Now, these reports would let commanders back home know what happened each day, as well as who would be coming home and when. Shortly after that, the Gulf War began to wind down, and my unit was brought back home. I was assigned a temporary duty in La Porte, Texas, receiving and inventory of the cargo ships carrying our unit's heavy equipment. I had to go down to the hull of the ships and inventory each vehicle before it was lifted off. I have a lot of fun memories of this assignment because it was on the coast of Texas. But I also have not forgotten the cat-sized rats that were in the bottom of those ships and often in the cabs of the trucks when we went to open the doors. Once my unit returned, I was assigned to Alpha Battery, 2nd Battalion, 1st Air Defense Artillery Hawk Regiment as a Hawk missile crew member. During my active duty time, I was injured, and that injury made my reenlistment impossible. But my passion for being a veteran and supporting veterans came years later when I started to really understand what it meant to be a veteran. As a matter of fact, it began when I was hired by the college. A few years ago, I met a Marine who had just completed 8 years of active duty service. In those 8 years, he had been to Iraq and Afghanistan a staggering 6 times. Over the progression of our friendship and the comfortability of speaking to each other, he began to confide in me. He began to share stories about his own deployments. Now, this is not an easy thing to do. Some combat veterans have a hard time reliving these events, and they really only want to tell others who have been there, done that. With the stories he told me about the things he had been trained and asked to do came a flood of questions. Questions from him, like, how do I live knowing that? How do I not think about these things? How do I sit with my back to a door ever again? How do I not jump when I hear a loud sound? How will I ever sleep through the night? Will I ever be able to tolerate someone who hasn't experienced what I have? And will I be okay? This strong, hardcore Marine that had just defended our country and our freedom for the last 8 years was struggling with how to be a Marine out here, how to transition into the one being protected, and how to move on and be okay. Shortly after this, I was watching that movie, American Sniper, about Marine Chris Kyle. As I sat there, I realized I was watching a movie that was playing out the exact scenes that I had been told about in my office. And it occurred to me that unless you know, you don't know. Unless you are a veteran or know a veteran that has shared these things out loud, you don't know. Isn't that most of us? How can we support our veterans properly if we really don't even know what it is they need? Now, I'm a veteran, and I should know all the benefits that are available to me for my service, right? Wrong. When I started this job and started networking with other veterans and veteran advocates, I realized I knew nothing. I was eligible for health care, compensation, and education benefits, and I had no idea. I was introduced to and able to utilize a GI Bill-related education benefit and graduate with a degree 20 years after I separated from the military and 10 years after my own GI Bill expired. And I never even knew that benefit existed until I met these amazing service officers. Illinois Central College is fortunate to have a standalone VA office on campus where I can focus on the veteran, where I can spend my time researching and learning all the things every veteran has a right to know and have access to. Peoria is also lucky to have some of the best veteran service officers in the region, maybe even the state, in my opinion. When I started this job 8 years ago, I had 3, maybe 4 dependents of veterans using education benefits because of their parent or their spouse's service. This semester, there are 53 dependents attending ICC on dependent education benefits. This spike is a direct result of the great work our area service officers are doing for our veterans. It's visual proof that veterans are being taken care of. But there's still plenty of help to be given. One of the most common problems experienced by veterans is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. 20 out of every 100 veterans have PTSD. PTSD can present in ways that make it obvious, and it can be silent. Sometimes the veteran themselves don't even realize they are suffering from this. Veterans rely on the Department of Veteran Affairs to help them with the physical, mental, and emotional issues after service. And the reality is that this help isn't often easily obtained, and sometimes, unfortunately, isn't quality care. That's why it's so important for all of us to support our veterans. I encourage you to listen to any veteran who is willing to share things with you. I encourage you to encourage other veterans to pursue bold goals. I encourage you to pay attention to veterans' issues and become knowledgeable. You wouldn't be here today if you weren't already willing to do all these things. Recently, my mother presented me with a box of letters. Now, this box contained every letter that I had written home during my basic training in the Army. There were letters to my parents, my brother, and my 3 younger sisters, and it was quite a treat to see these letters and the things I had written. Leaving right after high school graduation, basic training was the first time I had been anywhere without my parents. My memories of training are really good memories, and I can still remember the names of some of the other girls I served with. What I didn't remember was how much I missed my family during that time. The letters are packed full of apologies for things that had happened during my senior year, promises of a better future, proclamations of care and love for my siblings, and all those things that come with the reality of a new normal that meant not living at home or anywhere close to it anymore, and missing the people I loved. Now, I wouldn't change my path for anything because being in the Army has had a direct result on who I am today. The feelings in the letters are like the feelings I'm feeling right now. Missing my family, sitting hundreds of miles away and not being able to see them. So in keeping with the times we are currently living in and the reminder of how much my family means, I'm proud to honor my father, John Kane, and my brother, Sean Kane, both Navy veterans, by asking them to speak today. My father will be coming at you all the way from Winfield, Kansas, followed by my brother, who is right around the corner in Washington, Illinois. And now, here's my dad, Navy veteran John Marshall Kane.
Good morning from Veterans Memorial Park in Winfield, Kansas. My name is John Kane. I'm the Post Quartermaster of Post 3544 here in Winfield, Kansas. I served in the United States Navy in 1960. I was deployed to Vietnam as an aviation photographer, Second Class Petty Officer, to Naval Air Station Saigon, Vietnam. My son, Sean Kane, also served in the Navy as a Damage Controlman, Petty Officer, Second Class, United States Navy. He was awarded the Navy Medal of Merit for his actions during the Gulf War. My daughter, Marie Kane Doty, served in the United States Army Hawk missiles during the Gulf War. The newest member of our family to serve in the military is Brandon Kane, United States Navy. Gunner's Mate, A School, Great Lakes, Illinois. Behind me on this wall, 778 names of men and women of all branches of the armed forces who served in the United States Armed Forces and was deployed to Vietnam, along with the 58,479 names on the National Memorial in Washington, D.C. We thank you. These men and women will forever be deployed. I would like to thank all veterans, past, present, and future. I would like to thank all of those who are today deployed. We thank you and pray for a safe and a quick return home. One other thing I'd like to ask is all veterans, thank another veteran, talk to other veterans, let them know that you are there for them. So once again, we wish all of you veterans a wonderful Veterans Day from Winfield, Kansas. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Sean Kane. I work here at Morton Buildings, and I'm a Navy veteran. Wanted to talk to you a little bit today about my experiences, some of the things that we're doing here, some of the things I'm involved in, a little bit about my past service as well. I live here in the Washington, Illinois area, the central Illinois area. As I said, I'm a Navy veteran. Joined the Navy about 30 years ago. Went to Great Lakes Recruit Training Command for my basic training. Once I got done with my basic training, I went to my A school. I became a damage controlman. Incidentally, my A school was located in Treasure Island, California, which is in the San Francisco Bay, like right in the middle of the Bay Bridge. There's an island there, and that was actually the Navy base where the A school was located. Back when I went there, it's since long gone, and they've relocated that up to Great Lakes. But interesting story to tell people that I was actually lived on Treasure Island for a period of time. After A school, I was given orders to my ultimate command, which was the USS Essex. At that time, it was a pre-com, meaning it was pre-commissioned, so it was still being built. The ship was being built down in Pascagoula, Mississippi. So kind of went to San Diego, then I was sent out to Mississippi while the ship was being completed and ultimately put in the water and brought on back to San Diego for commissioning. During that transit from Pascagoula, I was lucky enough to go through the Panama Canal, so I did that. Once we went through the canal, we took a left, not north or not right, to San Diego, and went across the equator and got to become a shellback. Within my first year of even being in the Navy, I was already a shellback, so that was a real interesting and fun time. My understanding is they probably don't hold that ceremony quite like they did back when I went through it, but that's fine. So really within my first year, like I said, I was a shellback. I was what they call a plank owner, and also I'd been initiated in what's called the Order of the Ditch. So some things that most people normally don't do in an entire career, I somehow was lucky enough to have that happen in my first year. Once in San Diego, I deployed 3 times on RIMPAC in 94, 93, 96, I think were the 3 years I participated in the RIMPAC exercises. Also deployed on WestPAC in 1994, 1995. Participated in Operation Southern Watch in the Persian Gulf, and also participated in Operation United Shield, which was the evolution where we withdrew all of our troops. The United Nations withdrew all troops from Somalia back in 1995, so participated in that as well. Interesting story, kind of back to the Persian Gulf. December, Christmas Day in 1994. At that time, I was a member of a team called the Rescue and Assistance Detail, and we were a small firefighting detail or casualty control detail, about 4 or 5 of us. In the event another craft might need some assistance with one of those things, and they called for help, well, we would be sent over either by boat or by helicopter. Well, in Christmas morning in 1994, our captain called our detail to ready on the flight deck. And what had happened is our ship had taken over and intercepted another ship that was violating UN embargoes and trying to get into Iraq. And so we sent our SEAL team over, took down the ship. They tried to scuttle it before we got on board, sink it. And so, of course, when the SEAL team arrived and assessed the situation, it appeared that the ship was going down. So they dispatched us over there to take a look at that, deal with that situation. We were able to successfully do that, dewater a little bit, get the ship's dewatering system online, make that stable so they could make port safely and keep that situation under control. But it's definitely a Christmas day I won't forget. One of the things that I really enjoyed about the Navy is the world travels and the places I've got to be and the people that I got to meet and work with. Those are lifelong friends. I'm sure most veterans will recognize the people that you work with and meet while you're in at a pretty influential time in your life. They're lifelong people that you work with. Once I got out in '96, I joined the active reserve for about a year, and then I ultimately discharged. Things that I take from the Navy that I use every day in my role are the independence, I guess the way independent thinking and not relying so much on other people to get me through a situation, kind of a self-reliance. Again, at a young age, when you're put in a situation like that, you got to figure out real quickly that, or you do figure out real quickly that it's on you to make things happen. Leadership, determination, discipline, attention to detail, fairness. These are all things I use every day in my role. I did mention I work with Morton Buildings, currently vice president and general manager here, so I have about close to 2,000 people that are in my area of purview. The Navy runs in my family, so as far as veterans and supporting veterans and being a veteran, my dad is a veteran. He was in the Navy. My sister's a veteran. She was in the Army. Currently, my son is active duty. He is in the Navy. He's a gunner's mate, and he just found out a couple days ago that he's going to be stationed on the USS New Orleans, LPD-18, over in Sasebo, Japan. So that's going to be an incredible experience for him. I'm pretty excited. My wife does not share my excitement. It doesn't appear in this, but I think she understands that at the end of the day, this will go by fast, and it's an experience that he'll never forget, certainly. So I'm real excited about that. Some of the veterans organizations that I like to stay involved with are the VFW. I'm a lifetime member of the VFW, American Legion, Team Red, White, and Blue, and there's a couple other things that I might from time to time either volunteer with or help out with. But one of the things right now that I'm really engaged with is Morton Buildings Hire a Veteran campaign, and we're actively seeking veterans to come work in our organization. For a lot of the reasons I described earlier, they're better leaders. Their attention to detail is superb. Their discipline, all those things are really needed when coming into this organization, and in particular joining our construction crews and getting that job done, because we're always in need of those types of people, and in particular leaders on those construction crews. So one of the things that we've done is we have a partnership with an organization that is represented on almost every major military installation in the country, and they help transitioning military start learning skills that could be applicable in the civilian world when they get out. One of them is carpentry. So we have pipelines established there. We hire every week. We have an onboarding event for all of our new construction workers that can range anywhere from 4 to 20. And many times, maybe even half of all those people are veterans. This morning we just had one. I think we had 13, and about 5 were veterans, and a couple of others grew up as military in a military family. So something that we're really highly connected to. I remember when I was a veteran, one of the things I was concerned the most about, or had some anxiety about, was what am I going to do? What's my purpose going to be once I choose to separate? And because you do have a purpose. When you're in the military, you know what the purpose is. It's something to be very proud of, and it's really hard to replace that feeling when you get out. And that's what we're trying to demonstrate to veterans, especially newly separated ones, is, hey, there's a place here that has a high purpose. It's a high quality job. We can give you purpose. We can put you in a position where you could be a leader once again really quickly, and your skills are very applicable to what it is we're trying to do there, to do here at our organization. So real excited about that. That's something that like I said, I've been highly involved in standing up and working on over the past couple of years, and we're seeing great success in it. It's making our organization much better. So anyway, that's a little bit about me. Happy Veterans Day to everybody. Thank you for everybody that's watching in your service too. If you happen to be a veteran, proud to call myself a veteran, and my family couldn't be more proud of what I come from, what I was able to do, the people that I've been able to work with and continue to work with in the veterans organizations that I'm involved with. So thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you for your time today and for showing up to honor veterans or be honored. Stacy Turpin here at the college recently agreed to take on the responsibility of learning about veterans' education benefits. Stacy isn't looking at this as just another responsibility. She is deeply motivated to understand and make an impact in the life of veterans. So I'd like to share a couple of photos of her military family members. This is Stacy's son, Justin Turpin, who served with the United States Army Reserves for 6 years. And this is Stacy's father, John Nolte, who served in the United States Army from 1965 to 1967 and was stationed in Germany. Thank you both for your service. Earlier this week, I had the honor of sitting in on a Removing Barriers for Veterans Symposium, where I heard Congressional Medal of Honor recipient Alan Lynch talk about his work with his foundation, the A.J. Lynch Foundation, and what they were doing for veterans. I'm going to close with something I heard him say, something I think every veteran needs to hear. So listen up. Don't give up. No matter how hard it is, keep moving forward. Never give up on yourself. The presentation will now end with a scroll of names of ICC students, faculty, and staff who have served or are currently serving in the United States military. Thank you all, and happy Veterans Day.